We are track record.
We are never finished.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is the day. Today's the day that we are officially finishing getting the WRX ready for E85. Check out what came in the mail yesterday. I got some VP Racing jugs. I'm gonna take these with me when I'm actually ready for E85. Fill these up on the way home and just have them here. And this also came in the mail yesterday. This is Flex Fuel kit right here. So this should be everything that I need. So as you guys could tell, probably that this is what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be installing this Flex Fuel kit on the WRX. So we're gonna get this on the car, get this on the car, and then the WRX should be officially and 100% ready to go to ProTune and run on E85. I actually started the car up last night. It was the first time that I started the car since I had the bumper off and put the front mount intercooler on. So I should probably open the garage first. So for this install, I think I only need to jack up the one side because we just need to access the downpipe. That's one of the reasons I didn't put the splash guard on or anything else like that. I kept the bumper off just so we could do this video. All right, gotta be honest, never done this before, obviously. Don't know what a lot of this stuff is, but I'm gonna be watching a video on how to do this, and I'm gonna be making a video on how to do it. So this will be like a secondhand how-to install video. It's gonna be really easy. There's like a legit storm going on outside. It's literally, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like raining sideways, the wind's picking up, but you know what? We're doing this. All right, so we gotta pull this fuse. This is the 15 on the lower right side right here, this blue one. We gotta pull that. That is the fuel pump fuse. So I think that'll cut off power to the fuel pump because right now we have, I'm assuming, some pressure built up in the fuel line. So when we remove that, we don't want fuel just to like explode everywhere. So we gotta relieve the pressure. So we're just gonna take that out. All right, so next we're gonna pull up a gauge and check out our fuel pressure gauge. All right, we found it here, fuel pressure. So I'm gonna select that. All right, now we got a fuel pressure right here. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start up the car and we should see that drop down to 0 and the car should die out. That means that there's no more fuel going to the car, to the engine, and we should be good on the pressure. There it goes. That took a little bit longer than I thought. All right, so next step is we actually have to remove the battery. So I'm gonna disconnect all that up and we'll get that out and we'll move on to the next step. Next step is going to be disconnecting this fuel line. Just so you guys know, there is a clip right here, so you're gonna have to pop that out and then have a paper towel or something ready to catch any dripping fuel. You're just gonna do that by lifting up this blue tab here and it should unsnap. So the end of this line just follows right here and it ends right here. It's a pretty short line. So we're gonna disconnect to the other end of this just by doing the same exact thing. There's no clip on this one, I don't think. Yeah, so we should just be able to get this up. Definitely more gas coming out of that one. Looks like it just dripped straight down. A little bit did get on my downpipe, but I wiped that up because I don't want that burning. But it should evaporate off. So basically you're gonna take the longer line and put it on the right side if you have the Cobb logo oriented in this way. So I'm just gonna slide onto there. All right, there you go. So you wanna make sure that there's a little rib right here. You wanna get this over the top of that and then clamp it down to lock it in place. Just like that. And then the shorter one is gonna go the same way on the left side. Just like that, should be pretty easy. And now this is actually gonna go right over here underneath or next to the fuse box. So there should just be a 10mm bolt right here, and over here. Alright, so the next step is going to be getting this hole lined up with this hole down here, and we're going to basically just screw it all back in. The whole purpose of unscrewing all this is just so we can loosen it up and get this in place, because this is where it's going to live from now on. Alright, next up we are going to basically just reconnect these to the old connections. This line is going to go to this back one. This is the longest one, obviously, so that's going to go there. And then the shorter one is just going to go under here and to the same thing. Okay, so let's get into the wires of this. I'm just going to show you real quick. This is the mounting piece. This is basically going to go, if you guys have the top mount intercooler, the stock one or any other one, you're going to have a bracket right here with some screws. I don't know if you can see that, it's out of focus. But essentially it's just going to go right here. These wires are pretty easy, self-explanatory. They're actually labeled very well, so thank you, Cobb, for doing that. It's really helpful. This long one is going to go straight down to your O2 sensor located on your J-pipe, downpipe. This brown one is going to go directly into your Cobb fuel system, which is labeled fuel sensor. These ones are labeled TGV. Now I actually have the TGV deletes on this car, so I'm actually going to be only using this long one. This short one I'm going to be taping up because it's not necessary for this. There's no readout, so nothing to connect it to. The brown sensor, that is going to go to the sensor here. It's hard to see, but it is in there. So now we are actually going to go underneath the car and connect the bottom ones to the O2 sensor. And essentially that is just plugged in with this green plug right here. So you're gonna unplug that and then you're gonna plug these into both of those open plugs so that we can kind of steal the info that's going to there. There's that. All right, so one thing that we are gonna have to do is get all this slack up out of the way because we don't want this hanging down underneath the car like this with the J-pipe. Now the last connection is going to be the TGV delete. So I went ahead and taped this one up and we're gonna plug this into there and then we should be good to go. So last step is going to be reinstalling the fuse and then connecting the battery, and then we'll start it up and see how everything runs. Make sure there's nothing else that's leaking or anything that looks weird, sounds weird. We should be good. Fuel pressure looks good, sounds good, so I'm gonna go check for leaks. Now on to the second part of this video, high flow fuel pump. This should be pretty easy. I don't have to put the car up on jack stands or anything like that. I just have to remove the back seat and get into there so we can access the fuel tank. One thing that I did already, which I kind of undid it, was I unhooked the battery just because we are dealing with the fuel. This install is basically, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. We're just gonna be removing the back seats and then pretty much doing everything else back here. Still raining like crazy outside. So yeah, let's get into this. And there we go. So there's just these two clips that you literally just pull straight out in that direction. We're just gonna be removing this plate, just Phillips head, screwdriver, and then that's where the gas tank is, right below it. I believe these guys are 8mm bolts all the way around this thing. Before we get everything out, I do want to, there's two clips in here. One of them I marked with tape so that I can remember which one is which. So you do want to be careful because there is gas in these lines, so just have a towel ready to soak up anything. Now you want to be careful when you're pulling this thing out because there is a level attached to the bottom, and that you don't want to bend or break off. So I'm gonna carry this over. All right, so we got the fuel pump out, or the housing for the fuel pump. The fuel pump is actually, you can just see the top of it through this canister in here, which is inside of this bigger piece. This is the level to see where your gas is at. All right, I was able to figure out how to get this off. Basically, you want to disconnect these two wires up here at the top, leave them loose, and then there is a small C-clip at the bottom here holding this pin in. And you're going to want to be really careful taking this out. I just used a small screwdriver to pry it out, and then it went flying and I had to go find it. So don't lose that clip on the side. another clip on the side, and then a small clip right here, right above this component. There we go, got that off. So this is the filter here. They give us a new one, and then it just slides out like that. I guess we'll keep this. So this is weird. This is like a week later. I think it's been over a week actually. This is a weird transition because I left off with taking this fuel pump out of the WRX and ran into a small issue that I had to resolve. But essentially what happened, let me just give you the quick rundown of what happened, was long story short, I decided to not go with the AEM fuel pump and I instead went with the DW 300C fuel pump for my car. And the reason that is because these wires. Now, I didn't realize this at the time, and I should have done a little bit more research as usual, but these are the wires that come with the AEM fuel pump, and I guess it's so that it's a little bit more of a universal application, I'm guessing. I don't know if you can see there, but there's some exposed wires on the end, which means what you actually have to do is you have to take these wires, these are the blue and black ones are the OEM wires. You have to cut the OEM wires and then resolder, I believe it's this gray pin on this side, you have to cut that off and then solder that onto here. And you have to, you know, seal it up, solder it, seal it up, and then apparently that's, you know, you'll be fine. And then you put everything back together. And then the sketchy part is that my soldering job, my wire job, which if you guys don't know this about me already, not too fond of the electric work because I'm not too good at it. So I'm a little uneasy about putting that soldering job with the, you know, potentially exposed wires into, like, literally dropping it into my fuel tank to be surrounded by fuel. So with that in mind, I just was like, okay, you know what, just to be safe, to make sure I'm not going to blow anything up or ruin my car, I'm just going to play the safe route and go with the one that pretty much everybody else goes with, the DW, you know, just the easier route, because check it out. This one comes with a wire that has both ends. This has got the gray clip on that we need. So forget all of the AIM stuff that I may have or may not have said in this video so far. Let's continue with the DW fuel pump. Alright, so this gets a little tricky here, but really all you have to do is take the spacer that comes off of the stock pump, because this pump has some ridges on it, this spacer does not fit over it, and the recommendation that I have heard is use the spacer and 2 O-rings on top of that. They give you 3, but recommendation is only use 2 plus the spacer. So, but the problem is the spacer does not fit over this these ridges. So what you do is you make a small cut in the plastic all the way through so that it has room to expand, and then you can slide it all the way down to the bottom there. Alright, so then you just pretty much go ahead and push this in, plug your wires in back into place, and then I'll have to plug this one back into here as well. I'm going to go ahead and put this filter on right now as well. And one of the last things that we got to do is take this original filter, and this had a regulator piece on it. It just clips right in, so I just cut that off with a little saw. So that's free now, and we're going to ditch this because we have the new filter, and we're going to put this onto here, and that should just snap right in like that. There we go. Now we can get everything back together. Alright, so now that this is all back together, finally, after like a week and a half of waiting for a new pump, finally got it in. So now, get to put this back into the fuel tank. Alright, so here goes the startup. Now, I don't know if you guys heard that, but there's like a noise, an audible noise. Okay, that was a little bit of a rough start. So we're running around 800, like high 700s to low 800s fuel pressure. I don't know, everything seems to be running okay. I'll have to look into what that noise is. I don't feel like that's not, I'm pretty sure that noise wasn't there with the old fuel pump, so it could just be because it's a high flow fuel pump. There's something else that's happening that I don't know about. All right, you guys, I am finally done putting the Cobb Flex Fuel Kit and the new fuel pump into the car, which means that is it. We are fully ready for E85. So I already have the Pro Tune scheduled. It's happening very soon, but you guys will know it's within a week. Tomorrow I'm gonna just put everything back together on the car. I am gonna be cutting this front bumper probably tomorrow before I put it back on the car. And that's when I'll put everything, the car back together. And I'm so excited to take this out for a drive. I haven't driven this in such a long time, it feels like. So to be able to get it all back together and everything's working perfectly, and then to get it Pro Tuned with the E85 tune, that's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited to get all that done. So, but you guys will see it as soon as it happens. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna close it out here. We are never finished, and we will catch you guys in the next one.